I decided to become a coach because I am the youngest of 11 children, so we always played basketball, volleyball, softball, all kind of games.
Working with kids is something that's very beneficial as long as you're doing it in the proper manner.
I became a coach because I love the game of basketball.
My coaches, especially my high school coaches, were probably the greatest influence.
At an early age, I can recall I always had a passion for sports.
I began to realize, hey, I want to teach and coach, and I want to try to influence young people and work with them. And
one of the main things that I like is just being able to work with all kinds of athletes.
I asked him, I said, well, Coach, what would I do? What would I study? And he said, well, I think you make a good coach. And so if my coach said it, I believe that.
I had a really good experience through high school and junior high and really good coaches.
I love waking up every day and going to work with kids.
I think I always wanted to be a coach. My coaches from middle school on through high school were very good.
Helping young people succeed was the success I was looking for out there coaching.
So there's just a lot of working pieces, and I find that remembering to do it all and keeping it all organized and that flowing is what is the most difficult part.
Dealing with the parents. It doesn't have to be difficult. It just has to be handled delicately.
the most difficult part is just making sure everybody stays positive, and that being from myself to the coaches to the students.
Trying to find that balance between home, family, and school, and dividing your attention among so many places.
I think especially being here in the Metroplex, having a successful program year in and year out is very, very difficult because everyone's good.
You may have to be more like the father or mother figure for your athletes. So being able to show them that you really care about them.
Just all the stuff that surrounds it. Being a head coach, from I don't want to say anything real negative, but dealing with from scheduling to umpiring to equipment to booster clubs to parent meetings to the teaching grind and all of that.
Your best player on the team, and that person is not your best practice person. A lot of times it's just a bad influence on the other players that are practicing hard.
It's when it's time to make the cuts for the team. You know that you're going to break somebody's heart, but it is a reality, and you have to get the best kids for the team.
Keeping focus on what is really important.
Being flexible and understanding, and then finding time to really get to know your players off of the field.
And so Don Haskins was the head coach there, and so legend in El Paso called the Bear.
Coach Clifford No More. I worked at Mac Adams Recreation Center where he was the director.
And our JV coach, Coach Junewick, was just a ball of energy.
Greg Cartwright, he was my high school basketball coach.
And it was my high school track coach, Bob Wells.
My high school football coach and athletic director, his name was Coach Charles Folsom.
Was my high school head football coach back in El Paso, Texas at Clint High School by the name of Benny Reed.
My baseball coaches back at Rains High School. Coach David Smith was my baseball coach when I was a freshman, and then Mike Aston was my coaches as a junior and senior.
Coach Denny Swenson at Central Michigan University.
Was my high school coach, Coach Robinson.
Jim Kinney, my high school football coach.
I think it goes back to my middle school head coach, Mr. Crockett.
And as a classroom teacher, he was always dressed professionally, and he was always ready to deliver a lesson. And in athletics, we would run all the way up to the field house, and he made sure that that was our favorite part of the day.
And I just think that it's important to be a role model in fitness when that's actually what we're asking them to do in return.
I don't ever remember him saying anything really just outstandingly inspiring, but he was always consistent, always there, gave, you knew what to expect on a daily basis, and you were there to get in shape, work, and get better, and whether that was in the classroom or on the field.
But the only men's NCAA championship is the UTEP Miners. Go Miners. Keeping the program focused on the big picture, especially for the varsity level, and that's getting out, making the playoffs each year, and advancing as far as you can go, and ultimately winning the state championship for 6A.
You're going to have a tough loss as far as a coach. I don't care what sports you're in. And I think that you go back and you reflect about what were maybe the 3 or 4 plays that maybe turned the game into the favor of the opponent. And then you look at how can I be able to correct that situation where maybe we don't make the same mistake again that causes us to have that issue. On top of that, when you have a tough loss, you got to be able to build up your kids. As long as your kids went out and they gave you every effort on the field, on the court, whatever it might be, then you've got to know and you've got to feel deep in your heart the fact that, hey, we did all the things we needed to do. We just had some things go against us.
I don't go in and talk too much about the game we just lost. I'll point out a couple of things, but I'm afraid I might say something I might regret. So I'll just say, hey, tough loss tonight, and let's go back to work tomorrow.
For my kids, I know that when we come back in the gym that I have to somehow get them motivated to go again. And sometimes that's playing a fun game, just to kind of wipe the slate clean and go again. But at the same time, I think that losses are where we grow as people.
Don't think that all is lost because a game is lost, because oftentimes the loss of a game is the thing that propels you to greatness.
So show up every day, be excited, coach your kids, understand that you want to definitely have a plan, have a purpose for when you show up to practice, put that plan into action, and simply just go to work and have fun each day.
If you don't know how to teach a person how to throw a shot put, ask for help, because you don't want to have that person throw the shot put the wrong way and end up getting hurt.
I have realized that coaching is about so much more than winning. It's about teaching kids to respect the national anthem, to shake hands with someone and look them in the eye, to be able to communicate with people when something is bothering you.
Always go with your gut and treat people the way you want to be treated.
See your athletic directors every day, once a week, and ask them, be proactive. What do you need me to do? And I think the other thing that I would tell young coaches is love the relationships that you have or that you can have as much as you love the competition.
Be passionate about what you do. Be passionate about the sport and your efforts in the sport, but mainly be passionate about the kids that you're working with to help them succeed in life.
To be friendly, but do not try to be your athlete's friend.
First of all, if you're not married, find a spouse that is very supportive of what you're doing. They understand your dreams, they understand your hopes and the career. Most people have a secondary sport. Be professional and prepared in that secondary sport. I look at it as if you're a coach, you can coach anything. All you have to do is put some effort into it.
Be loyal. Be loyal to the coaches that you work with and your kids in your school. And then I think develop a spiritual life.